Choosing a sewing machine can be confusing, but in this video, I'll help you figure out exactly what to look for and how to choose the best sewing machine for you. Now, this isn't a top 5 sewing machines video. Instead, I'll walk you through how to choose a sewing machine based on your goals, your budget, and what actually matters. Welcome! I'm a sewist with over a decade of experience, and on this channel, I help you sew practical, stylish accessories that fit your life. Now, let's get into how to choose the right sewing machine for you. Now, the first thing is to identify your sewing goals. Now, before you start looking at features or comparing machines, the first question to ask yourself is, what kind of sewing is it that you want to do? Are you planning to make bags or accessories, garments, belts, or home decor? Or maybe you just want something for basic repairs or occasional craft projects. There's no right or wrong answer here, but knowing your goals makes a huge difference in choosing the right machine. Some machines are built for specific tasks, like embroidery. Some are better for thick fabrics, others for detail work. And if you only sew occasionally, your needs are very different from someone sewing every week. For example, if you just want to fix a ripped curtain or sew a pillow every once in a while, then a simple mechanical machine from a big box store might be totally fine. But if you're planning on diving into fashion design or sewing heavy-duty projects regularly, then you'll want a machine with more power, better stitch quality, and features that make sewing faster and easier. Figuring out what you actually want to make is the foundation for every decision you'll make from here. Once you've figured out what you want to sew, the next step is figuring out what type of machine makes the most sense for that, starting with whether you want a mechanical or a computerized model. So, mechanical versus computerized. Mechanical machines use manual dials and basic control. They're often more affordable, simpler to maintain, and they've got a reputation for lasting practically forever. Now, if you just need something for basic mending, home projects, or the occasional craft, then a mechanical machine might be perfect. But they can also be a little bit limiting. Fewer stitches, less precision, and they sometimes take a little bit more work to get exactly what you want. Computerized machines, on the other hand, offer push-button control, automatic settings, and a lot more built-in functionality. You'll often get automatic buttonholes, speed control, an automatic needle threader, and more precise stitching. Basically, they're designed to make sewing a lot more easy and versatile. They're great for crafters, garment makers, quilters, really anyone who wants to grow their skills or try a variety of projects. But like most tech, they don't always last as long, and they tend to cost more. Also, for some beginners, all those extra features might actually feel like too much. So which one should you choose? That depends on what you want to sew, how often, and your personal preferences. If you just want to sew curtains or fix clothes every now and then, a mechanical machine is likely more than enough. But if you want more versatility, automation, and room to grow, a computerized machine is probably a better fit. Now that you've got a sense of the difference between mechanical and computerized machines, let's talk about the different types of machines you'll see and how to figure out which one fits what you want to sew. So here are some common types of machines and what they're for. Many machines can technically do a little bit of everything, but most are designed with a specific focus in mind. Choosing a machine that matches your main type of sewing will make your life a lot easier. So first, we have embroidery-only machines. Embroidery machines are made just for embroidery. They don't do regular sewing. They use design software, hoops, and stabilizers to stitch patterns. And they can get pretty pricey depending on what they're built to handle. If embroidery is your main focus, then this is the machine for you. Second, we have sewing embroidery combo machines. Sewing and embroidery combo machines are exactly what they sound like. They let you sew and also do embroidery using a removable unit. These are ideal if embroidery is your main thing, but you still want the option to be able to do basic sewing. Third, we have quilting machines. Quilting machines are designed with extra space and features to make quilting easier. They often come with an extension table and give you more room to maneuver larger projects. If quilting is your primary focus, a dedicated quilting machine may be worth it. And fourth, we have heavy-duty machines. Heavy-duty machines are built for strength. They have more power, more speed, and can handle thicker fabrics or multiple layers, such as thick denim, leather, or upholstery fabrics. They're perfect if you're regularly sewing tougher materials. And last we have Stylists or all-purpose machines. Stylist machines or general computerized sewing machines are the most versatile. They're designed for people who want to be able to sew a little bit of everything. Crafts, bags, clothes, pillows, you name it. Some can even do occasional embroidery or light quilting, depending on the model. My machine is a Stylist model. It has a metal frame, a ton of features, and I use it for everything from cotton accessories to the occasional denim project. It's not a full heavy-duty machine, but it still handles multiple layers really well. And it can even do light embroidery. It's a great balance for the type of sewing that I do most often. Now, if you're not sure which machine type is right for you, I've got a comparison chart. It shows which machines are best for which type of projects, so you can see at a glance what might suit you. The bottom line, pick a sewing machine that fits the type of sewing that you'll be doing most often. You'll save yourself a lot of frustration and your projects will come together much more smoothly. So once you know the type of machine that fits your needs, the next step is to look at the features, what your machine can do, and what's actually going to make your sewing experience smoother. Now, if this is helping you feel more confident about choosing a sewing machine, go ahead and hit that like button. It really does support the channel. And if you want more beginner-friendly sewing tips, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. So, stitches. When you're choosing a machine, it's really easy to get distracted by numbers, like how many built-in stitches a sewing machine has. But here's the truth. The number of stitches a sewing machine offers isn't what really matters. Most beginners end up using only about 5 to 10 stitches. A straight stitch, maybe a zigzag stitch or two, an overedge stitch, and a buttonhole. The rest are purely decorative, and while they're fun, they don't determine how flexible or useful your machine is. So what does matter? Presser feet. The right presser feet are what actually give your machine versatility. Most machines come with at least a general purpose foot, but there are tons of specialty feet that can open up all kinds of sewing techniques. For example, a zipper foot lets you sew close to zippers. A blind hem foot makes invisible hems easy. A rolled hem foot helps you sew silky, slippery fabrics. An overcasting foot finishes your seams to keep them from fraying. And a walking foot, it's your best friend when sewing multiple layers. Now, you should know that you can usually buy presser feet later, but that depends on your machine model. And they can add up. Some cost $6, others $50, with most coming in at an average of $20 each. So, the more useful feet that your machine comes with right out of the box, the better deal you're getting. And while we're talking about feet, wait, not those feet, the ones that go on your machine. Look for snap-on presser feet. These let you change your presser feet with a quick release lever instead of having to reach for your screwdriver each time. On some projects, I might switch presser feet like 20 times. Can you imagine doing that with a screwdriver each time? That would take forever and drive me crazy. Snap-on presser feet save time and sanity. Now let's take a look at some helpful extras to look for. Now there are some built-in features that aren't essential, but they will make your life a lot easier. Look for things like automatic needle threading, a built-in bobbin winder, a built-in thread cutter, and a speed control slider. Now these features aren't must-haves, but they sure are nice, and they make sewing a lot easier and more efficient. Another thing to consider is whether the machine has a drop-in bobbin or front-loading bobbin. Drop-in bobbins are easier to change, easier to thread, and you can see exactly how much thread you have left thanks to the clear plate. They used to be considered less precise, but modern drop-in bobbins offer the same great stitch quality. Front-loading bobbins, on the other hand, sit inside a metal case and load from the front. They can offer more control for more advanced sewers, but they're harder to access and they can be a little bit more finicky. So between the two, it ultimately comes down to preference. Drop-in bobbins are generally easier to work with, but either can work. Now we want to look at what should be included with your sewing machine. Make sure that your sewing machine comes with the basics included, such as a power cord, a foot pedal, and starter accessories. Most do, but I have seen some that require you to purchase the power cord and the foot pedal separately. And trust me, you'll want a foot pedal, even if your machine has a start-stop button. It gives you more control, especially when something goes sideways mid-stitch. You should also get a few other essentials included with the machine, such as spool caps, bobbins, a seam ripper, a starter pack of needles, a screwdriver for the needle plate, and a lint brush. Now, if you're not sure what these are or how they're used, I have a separate video and blog post that covers all of that. I'll link it below. Anyway, these features can make your sewing smoother, faster, and much more enjoyable, especially as you're starting out. So when you're comparing machines, don't just look at the stitch count. Check the feet, the bobbin, the features, and what's included. So now that we've covered features and functionality, let's talk about something that's just as important: how the machine is actually built. Because not all sewing machines are created equal when it comes to quality, durability, and everyday ease of use. Now, another thing to think about when you're choosing a sewing machine is the construction and build quality. So first, let's start with the sewing machine itself. Machines with solid metal frames are generally more durable. They hold up better over time, handle more wear and tear, and are stronger when it comes to thick fabrics or heavy-duty projects. You'll often see metal frames in mechanical machines and heavy-duty models, but many computerized machines also have them. You just have to check the specs. It usually depends on what the machine is designed for and where it falls in the price range. Now, you may not need something super heavy-duty, but if you plan to sew regularly, work with thicker fabrics, or you just want something that lasts longer, then I'd recommend getting a machine with a sturdy metal frame. Now, besides the sewing machine itself, you'll also want to take a look at the presser feet. Look for metal presser feet, or at least ones that have a metal base. Avoid ones that are all plastic, as those usually don't hold up very well. Now, it's totally normal for certain presser feet to have some plastic parts, like a clear tip for visibility, like in the case of this presser foot. But the main structure should still be metal. A good mixture of function and durability is what you're looking for. In short, a well-built machine doesn't just last longer. It gives you better control, better results, and fewer frustrations down the road. Of course, how a machine is built matters, but so does how it feels to use it. So now let's talk about ease and fit. Fancy versus functional. Some machines are simple and intuitive. Others are so advanced that they practically sew for you. The right machine for you depends on how hands-on you want to be, how often you plan to sew, and whether or not those extra features will feel helpful or just overwhelming. And of course, all those features, whether helpful or overwhelming, usually come at a cost. So let's talk about budget and what you can reasonably expect at different price points. Sewing machines can range anywhere from $50 to over $5,000. And the truth is, you don't need to spend a fortune just to get started. A basic $50 machine can be a good starting point if you're on a tight budget or you're just testing the waters a bit. It may not allow you to expand much, but it will let you learn the basics. And you can always upgrade later. On the flip side, a higher price tag doesn't always guarantee a great machine. But if you can spend just $100 or so more, you can often get better quality, like a sturdier metal frame, more precise stitching, and helpful features that make sewing easier. Most solid beginner to intermediate machines fall somewhere in the range of $200 to $600. That's where you'll find machines with room to grow. Plenty of features, helpful extras, and a more enjoyable sewing experience overall. And keep an eye out for deals. Some manufacturers offer discounts in the "we made too many" or overstock section, which can cut the price in half sometimes. That's actually how I found my machine. So now that you have an idea of what to spend, the next question is, where do you even start looking? So, where can you buy a sewing machine? Some reputable brands to start with are Singer, Brother, Genome, Bernina, Juki, and Paf. Most of their websites have a Find Your Machine tool to help you narrow down your options. I've linked a full breakdown in the blog post below. And when you're ready to buy, you'll find machines at craft stores, big box retailers, and plenty of online shops. I'll be sharing more information about where to shop and what to look for in an upcoming video. Now, if you found this video helpful, please be sure to check out the full blog post, linked below. It has the comparison charts, the machine brand links, and even more tips to guide you through the process. And if you have questions, feel free to drop them in the comments. I'm happy to help. Now, if you're new to sewing and you want to get to know your machine, I've got a blog post, which I'll link below, and a video, which I'll link here, that walks you through the basic parts of a sewing machine. Bye!